Oh, another question? No? Okay, Robert.
You don't mind. I know it's late, and I certainly don't want to take it. Well, first of all, thank you all for your service and your offer of service. I sincerely appreciate everything that all of you are doing. And it's certainly too late to get into a question about misinformation in regards to carbon neutrality. So we certainly won't go there. But what we do have to address, because this is a beach town and everybody understands the importance of the ocean and the quality of the water, and specifically for what's about to happen. There's a proposed desalination plant. And what's happening now is that all of you are going to have an influence on that plant. And so I'd really like to know how you would vote, support or not support, a desalination plant that's going to be highly energy intensive. And Hyperion plant already puts into the bay 200 million gallons of water per day that is fresh water that could be recycled and could be used. Also, our stormwater that goes into the ocean, that all of you know, makes it absolutely unsafe for surfers to surf after a rain, could be diverted to Hyperion and could be used as fresh water, processed and processed as fresh drinking water by Hyperion without a desalination plant, which also has toxicity associated with the desalination process. So I would like to know how it is that you would vote on a desalination plant. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and next up would be Trent.
Okay, I've written 3 or 4 articles on the desalination plants that's proposed, okay? So, and I'm not even sure we would have a vote on this, but let's just say we do. The desalination plant that Robert's talking about would be located in the middle of the oil farm in El Segundo, right behind the power plant. And desalination plants are popping up all over the world. And that technology is moving ahead at warp speed. They are safe and they are effective. And we are not in a drought situation now, so West Basin Water District may not continue forward with the idea of floating the desalination plant, but when we were in a drought, they did float it, and I thought it's a good idea to look at it because we make things better through technology. For example, our ocean out here is getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner every day because we rebuilt Hyperion. We redid our storm drains. We put in regulations to prevent stuff from going in the ocean, and it's crystal clear now. It really is. The sea life is back. So the idea that we can't make something like fresh water from the ocean, to me, is just not practical. I believe that we can do it. I believe in this country. We have landed satellites on asteroids. We can make desalination water. So I definitely think that we can do good with our technology and we can make it beneficial for everybody.
Thanks, Trent. Pete?
Thank you. The desalination plant is something that's, I guess, coming to a head since Robert brought it up. I'm a little surprised that they're going to have a desal plant and the water's going to go right back into the Hyperion plant. I find that rather interesting because the Hyperion plant takes their water over to El Segundo with West Basin and it's clean there and recycled. So why do they need to do this? I'm not sure. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I bring up the West Basin and even LA County Sanitation because we still dump millions of gallons of treated water back into the ocean that could be used for irrigation and other systems in our homes. But due to the fact that there's not enough demand, these 2 agencies refuse to bring in the infrastructure, which means the main pipes, so we can tap off of that for usage in our homes. I've been a champion in advocating for infiltration projects. One is underneath the upper pier. I championed that project and we got an EPA grant to build that at no cost to the city, and we also got an award for that.
You can summarize?
So as far as infiltration goes and keeping the ocean clean, I'm all for that. We need to do more, and we need to educate more people inland. But as far as the desal plant goes, I'm a little miffed at their reasoning. It seems that we're already moving the water over and bring it back and use it there without a desal. So those are my answers to that. I would need more information, but I think the critical thing is we get what we call the purple pipe water down our streets so we can use that for irrigation and other usages in your home.
You can summarize,
Thank you.
Pete. Okay, thanks, Pete. Stacy?
Thank you for the question, Robert. I'm against desalinization in general and specifically at the location proposed in El Porto, El Segundo. It uses an extreme amount of energy, it compromises our marine life, it pollutes our ocean, and it'd be an eyesore. And I'm actually proud that one of my first votes on this council was a unanimous vote opposing the proposed desal plant in El Porto. And actually, it recently came to my attention that our EPAC commission had resurfaced that conversation, and it surprised me to an extent because we did take that unanimous vote against it. And it brings to mind that we're going to need better communication between our commissions and our council on these decisions so that we don't cross over each other there. But I'm against the desal plan, and I'm proud to be a part of that decision against it. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy. Matt?
Thank you, Robert, for the question. I actually did bring this up at our last EPAC meeting as far as if there's an emergency preparedness component to desalination. I strongly support desalination as far as the technology, primarily because of my affiliation with the United States Navy. It's a huge technology they use, and it's been beneficial when they've had to go ashore and provide fresh, clean water for whoever they need to rescue after a natural disaster. As far as actually supporting it in the one in El Segundo, I think it's way too premature. One of the biggest drawbacks with desalination is extremely energy intensive, but as the technology progresses, it may be a viable solution in the future. But as of right now, I wouldn't support it. But I wanted to see if there's an emergency preparedness component to their plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Mary?
While I don't have much expertise in desalination, I know some people who have extreme knowledge and expertise in desalination technology, and this project in particular. I would not be voting to support it as it's been currently maybe before the community in any way for consideration. And as far as the future down the road and what could happen and what the needs for water would be, it would be a completely different scenario. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary. Haney?
Thanks. So I was also on the council when we voted unanimously to oppose the desal plant, as Councilmember Amaro mentioned, and we sent a letter to West Basin, I believe it was June of last year, letting them know, and we actually were following the lead of Manhattan Beach, who similarly had a meeting, and I don't know the numbers, but I believe the council of Manhattan Beach also unanimously opposed the desal plant. We've heard, before we make the decision, we've heard from various entities, including Surfrider Foundation, Heal the Bay, and other environmental NGOs that were opposed to it. They provide us some valid reasons, including the fact that it costs too much money. It takes too much time. I think that the number I heard exceeds $500 million to build the desal plant, which is obviously a lot of money. I believe the EIR is going to be available later this year, so we can look into the issues specifically regarding it, but based on the information that we had, we have a good reason to oppose it. It also kills marine life, and for the location, it obstructs our coastline and our views. So for all the various reasons that were provided to us, there's no new information to lead me to think that that would be any different when the EIR comes out.
Summarize.
City of Hermosa Beach has opposed it, where I was part of that decision, and if it comes up again before us for any action, I'm likely to continue to oppose it as well.
Thanks, Haney. Okay.